Here's my old speaker. Look how bad a shape that was. My radio did actually crackle a little bit and had signs of working, which is amazing. So the new reproduction speaker is pretty cool. Works good. I think I got that through International, whatever, Studebaker. And I cut my wires because somehow I thought maybe I'd, try to use my old radio. I go, nah, what am I thinking? That's crazy. I think it's AM or whatever. And then when I got the radio out, I did see it had a tag was just kind of hanging on there a little bit, but apparently it had Falcon Brothers Audio, Radio, and TV Service in Mineola, New York. Minola, New York, phone number. And looks like the radio was out of it one time. And what's the 8th month? August 7 of maybe 1970. So, geez, that's only about, the car's a 63. That's only 7 years after they had the car, they had radio issues. So, so I don't think they were very successful. But I don't like the reproduction radio. It's so cheesy. But I hope the technology's okay. It will accommodate the original face. I was hoping I could have used my original knobs on the new radio, but they won't fit on there. So I got to use their chrome ones. So that disturbs me, but it's okay because on the vehicle, because of all the other different types of switches, those are the only knobs in the vehicle. Everything else is, as you know, the Avanti has different types of switches. So, but I'll save this, pack that away. I'm going to tape that on there nice somewhere and put that away. Here's the new hose. I've done the driver's side. It's a rough one. Oh, that's tough getting up in there to get that on, but it's on there and it looks like it'll stay on there. You have to kind of get it started and then you kind of like thread it on there a little bit. And so I didn't put any clamps or anything on it. And then, so I got to do the passenger side, I'll call it a defroster. Here's the old original. Look at this. Boy, isn't that something? That's so brittle. The original ones did have a wire in them. Okay, that said, as far as I hate going through these, usually I burn these things first thing. But my nephew was here, and he's pretty savvy on this, so he looked it over quick. And the speaker in there, it's got two wires. One doesn't make that much difference, but here's I cut all these, or like I just chopped those right off. Those were if you had 3, 4 sets of speakers in the car. I just want the one for the dash, so there it is, boom. And the one's a solid green, and which will go to I extended the wire. I did solder on my new speaker. I did solder the wires on. If you saw underneath there when we were looking at it. One side is ground, which is going to go the green with a black stripe. The other one's a solid green. Can't make it out too good. My other reference Avanti, somebody did get they had electric windows and did have a rear speaker, and it's got the rear speaker knob on it. The one, my reference one, which actually I'm saying was last registered to a guy by the name of Lyle Williams, I think it was. And I found the paperwork on it. And let's see what else we got. Ground, there's no problem. That's going to go like where the courtesy light was, ground. And then the yellow, it has to go to an all-time, what says battery, a hot. It's got to go to, I'm going to do it to the red courtesy light because that's on all the time. And this one is, what was that hot one too, wasn't it? Ignition. And so I know my nephew found the proper wire for me to tap into under the driver's side. Okay, and antenna. So I think I'm not going to take it down there again. Hopefully, near future, I'm going to be able to show you how see if the radio is going to work. I was able to get all those 4 nuts off the original speaker and not lose them. But I was going to add that putting back in place that one small nut, there was just no way. Only way I found it was accessible to get that one nut on, that I pointed out whatever color wire was near. My hand was just enough where I could get it. I could get my, with the nut in my hand, I was able to get in there, and I don't want to put my hand in it if I'm going to get stuck again. But I got it in and out, and I was able to get that nut started. So takes a little bit of dexterity, is that the word? Or if you have somebody with some small hands, might be helpful in that. Wasn't a pleasant experience putting in the new speaker. And this Avanti, like my Vet, sometimes when they create these vehicles, sports cars and whatnot, some things aren't too accessible because they have to didn't plan ahead on how you access areas. Just ready to slip this radio up here. I have to notice this. I say, well, it's got an American flag. It says modified, can't make it out, and engineered in USA. Then over here it says made in China. So what do we make of that? Excuse me, made in China. Well, here's the big deal. I know I'm getting power to my new radio. I wish I could use my original knobs, and I do miss the old one that has that Studebaker on there. But I got to have tunes when I'm cruising. I haven't put my side kick panels on yet, so we're sure the radio works. So here we go. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yahoo! There's off. All right. Takes a while to get going though. Come on. Oh, there it is. All right. Cool. While we're here, I'm not going to try to move along. We're going to get this car going. Getting close. The car hasn't run in 3 years. And the starter, that issue was because this type of starter, once it engages, it doesn't disengage until the RPMs, the engine starts. That's what my starter situation was about. I did try it, and I do hear it turning over. But you think I'd be all anxious, but I'm waiting for my expansion tank. Did have a solder leak in it. So I'm getting that back, getting that repaired. I can do that kind of work, but I want somebody to really... And the other thing I'll show you is on my vehicle, a lot of I think I've talked about it before, a lot of the paint was scratched up on the dash and around here. So I just took the paint stripper and I took all my paint off, I know. And same with the cover here on my radio. It was the beige color, and I stripped it off. And I'm also doing this area and this area. This isn't coming off so good here, but I got to work at it. So I'm going with that look. Make it mine. I'd rather see it. That'd be cool. I'm okay with it. So I think we're pretty. Here's the stripper I used. Pretty good stuff. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna get my kick panels back on. We call them kick panels. And these are really good if you can get some of these. Somebody'd been in there before, had the radio in and out. Again, Gomer and Goober. Some of the screws are lost, and so and it's tough lining up all those holes for the side panels. The upper part of the bucket seat has to be done the way it was originally, to hold this in. No way around it. It's got to be done properly. So here's the small little cotter keys. Look how small they are. They had to go through those holes and then they bend over. Now I'm replacing them with these longer cotter keys and a slightly bigger size. So I re-drilled these holes all out. So this would go through. That gave me enough room when these are on the rods to come through from the back side, pull them up, and once I had them all started, first I bent them a little bit, pull them through best you can. They're nice and snug like that. I have these nice cutters I've had for years. They look nice. There you go. And once these are all stapled, it's kind of nice, just trim it right around the edge. See how nice and jagged right along. And nice to have the other one for a pattern and see just how they did it. You see here, I'm working on that. Trying to replicate that there. Boy, once you cut something, or oh boy, there's no going back. Here's how I set up the upper part of the bucket seats. As I pointed out before, their cotter keys are really little. Get a long one. I'm going to get a little bit longer. I got to buy some more. That's how I set it up. I used a red marker, and I actually measured about where each one of those hog clips are. Then switched over here and see where I marked with the red dots. That's where they relatively should go. And then you'll see sometimes when they created these, they weren't always right on. So, like I have one down here, look how close it is to the cotter key. That's not good. because it was tough to line those holes up on the back of the fiberglass upper seats. That's what I did. So then I took blue, represents all where the cotter keys are going to go. They won't be going there because there's two rods. I'll show you in a little while when I set it up. So that's how I kind of getting it ready. My vehicle is a pretty rust-free vehicle, but for some reason my rods, look how rusty they are. I had a hard time slipping them out. So I got to de-rust them. And then what this does is you slip the one in here, pull the piping out, slip it in, and then you Hogs clip both of them together. But the trick is make sure you put your cotter key in, then clip it, find out where your next cotter key is going to be, so you've got the gist of that. The seats are pretty well reproductions, but look at, see how they're off here. Look at it, this should have been up a little higher, but it'll be okay. I've gone through the Hogs thing. My best ones are ones I got through my truck supplier because they had points on them, this is a nice right there. But I ran out, went over the runnings. As I stated before, my panels, I got them all ready, re-glued, dyed, and I had a nice assortment of screws. I'm going to put these guys on. And there again, this whole nice set of screws was, I don't know where they came from. I'm going to refer to as the Lyle Williams vehicle because I found some paperwork that my reference car, which was pretty cool. I found some paperwork on it. Lyle Williams, the last one to have it registered. What year was it? I gotta go back and look again. And then this George Howard bought it, and I think George Howard he's the one who ordered all these. I think I had some chrome done, had screws, and okay, so we're not going to be in here anymore. Now I'm going to work on the seats a little bit. I got my new upholstery in the mail, $900. There again, I got it through Studebaker International. They farm it out, whoever made it, and then they ship them to me. I have bought a lot of things at Studebaker International, but a Meyer Studebaker International is really great too. They're more knowledgeable, in particular, on different models of Studebaker. It just seems like I have a catalog for International right now. So it looks pretty good. There's no foam with it. So, but luckily, and let's see, this is my old one. So let's flip her over. What I pointed out to us here is that they're again from the factory. Look at they got that same old brown, I'll call it primer or whatever that they sprayed. And they sprayed it right over the insulation in there. Now it's kind of a little bit rough shape, but I'm going to use it. Let's salvage it. I'm going to peel this back, and it's got a little bit of this. Where are we here? Can you see what I'm looking at here? Yeah, we got. Do have some gobs of this stuff here and over there. One side was already messed up, so I'm probably going to throw that away, and I think it'll still be doesn't have any real purpose. So I'm going to get my black, just rattle can black paint, and I am going to spray the back this area. So kind of seal up some of that old, like burlap, like old burlap bags that you use on the farm. Kind of a burlap. It's kind of rough shape, but it's okay. But I am going to paint it, and that'll kind of make it stick a little better. And then peel this off, and then we'll proceed. And give it a little bit of blowing out. So it's not really rusty. It's this old like primer they got on it. And I said I'm going to spray it. I don't know down in here if you can see it. It looks like they had like silver paint. I don't know what that's about. What the object of that was. Were you able to see that when I was pointing at it? There it is. All right, I got to get this Avanti done because I got to put a clutch and pressure plates in this this old '63 Chevy I got back there. I got her up on blocks. So we got to get that going too. I got a new shifter for it. My interior is about my last issue to deal with. So let's see how that progresses. I did, I had the original primer on the springs and stuff, but I gave a shot of black, not to ever see on both sides a little bit. And this one's still kind of hanging on a little bit, the foam, but most of them pulled right off, so I'm trying to, of course it's flip-flopped here, Try not to forget how things are put together. This goes here. See, I'm getting backwards. There. Here. There, I had this like felt, pretty good condition yet. There. And here. And I got a couple of these guys. I'm not sure where they went actually. They'll come to me after a while. Here's the original. I've done seats before, but this guy is going to take a little bit of a challenge. Here's the original. See how it's pretty rough shape. But when these were in the factory, when I flip it over, these are sucked in between there. They have them hog clipped from the back side. We'll see how that goes. So here's my original. Here's our new black one. You've seen it? I really like it. As I say, it's, oh boy, you'll see when I flip it over. These have to be tucked down inside there and clipped. I'm not sure just how to do it yet. Wish I could do that. Clip that first and work your way out, or flip it over and do the back side first. And there again, I got my Hogs, what I call them, Hogs clips from TMC trucks. My interior was originally, I guess it was two-tone, fawn and I think elk. I didn't have a chance to really research all that, but my reference Avanti had fawn and elk, but had black seats with half black door panels. But so mine probably is going to be exactly like the duplicate of the original, but I'm going to go with the black seats. But I'm going to leave my lower panels in my car, the elk or fawn, whatever you call it. But I prefer having a black bucket seats in my vehicles, if they match okay. These little Hogs clips and this tool work pretty good. I've used them on my Ford pickup when I did that seat. So I don't think here's what you got here. Of course, the fabric's kind of ripped, but inside that was a wire, and then the Hogs clip grabbed it. I can see it. The Hogs clip would grab it. That's on the back side of the seat. So, and then the new ones here, the new seats, same kind of principle, but they got like some kind of plastic, which is okay. So I'm thinking maybe it might not be so bad. We gotta get that like tucked down in here, you see, and then we'll flip it over and try to grab those. So yes, I'm gonna lay it out, flip it over. I might go all the way around the edge first before I do the inner clips, if you know what I'm talking about. Really taking my time to make sure I got those all laid in there as nice as they. See that? Nice. Stretch that over the edge. This is going to take a while. I left the original wire from the old seat. Luckily the fabric ripped away from this wire. I hope you can see it here. And I even left it in place with all the original Hog clips on there, so when I flip it over I got something to go by. Though I hate leaving the old original stuff on there. I like to replace it, but that'd be a good reference for when I flip it over. One thing I did like is right here, you can see the wire kind of, I know it didn't slide, but I'm afraid when I put this together, it might actually cut into might haunt us later. And same over here. Where is it? I felt it right here. See, I don't know, I don't like that. It's just the way they. So I've got these nice choppers. Oh geez, I'm gonna start look. Let's find that. So I'm getting that. So once I wrap that and start from the bottom, in the corners there, I'm gonna bring it around. So I'm so afraid that would have bothered. I wish I glued this. This project isn't going to be a walk in the park, and I don't blame anybody for going to maybe a professional upholstery guy to have this done. But I'm trying to save money, and I like doing things myself. One thing I figure is I got set up, and I kind of reached here with my surgical tool and found that, see, I'll call it the piping. It's stitched in. I'm kind of pulling it through and getting it ready between the. Gotta go around, get it up between the foams, so it feels good. I gotta work on that one yet, but I was working on this one here. I feel like a gynecologist. I get all ready, but I'm gonna go around the edge. And this, maybe these vice grips, this might come in handy for holding it as I clip each one of those. This thing, I get the ones there's, I get in there and get that piping up through. See how it's tucked on there? I gotta fish it over now. So yeah, it's gonna take some time. Once I get those all set up, I'm gonna go around the edge and just go for it. And I don't like this. If you can see without me zeroing in, the original one, that just kind of nice. See how that is sewed around both sides, and then they grab the hold of it. Well, that gives it something to really, the stitching, holds the vinyl good, and then you grab onto that. Well, this one doesn't. They should have did something like that. Here, look at this. See what I mean? There's a lot of. And I'm going to leave these out. I believe those were in that position, but I don't see they're doing anything, and that's just something that someday a mouse is going to find his way in there and say, Yahoo, look at that nesting. So we're going to not go original there. I'm going to leave these guys so they kind of protect against the. But look, I got to really push this down. And I got the foam, so they're all like, I can see where they're lined right up with the old springs. Boy, look at that. See what I mean? I think she's all the way going by the other one. That's about all it was. Gonna wrap that one around first. And hog her. Boy, see that? I hope this doesn't rip off of there. They should, I don't see any what I'm doing wrong. It's a little better over here, of course. See, there's a lot of pressure over here. And getting this line up in the middle would be a good. So once I go all the way around and feel comfortable with that, I'm going to grab a hold of that piping and try to do those areas. I finished the upper part of the back seat. What a bitch. Oh my God, what a project. I think I put 10 hours into this. And I don't know if you take it to have it a reupholster, if they have a little better tools for doing this type of installation or not. If you're wondering why this black square is here, it's because when I took the seat apart, that one piece of cushion was still hogged down good, so I left it. So it looks kind of, but nobody will, there you go. I put 72 of these clips in. And through here, inside here, and boy, it's tough getting in there. So here's some of the tools that I used. To get me through this little project. See, luckily my surgical tools are pretty good at grabbing a hold and pulling them up, and then I had to use the vice grips with the, I put these little guys on there and clamped her down and got them in there like that. And then these I use quite a bit. Those are really good. This once in a while. And sometimes I have to get on them and really crimp them down. Oh boy. And I say I don't like the way they should have had a border around these, around the edge. Around the edge. So I really tighten them right down good. These hogs things are pretty good, but to really finish them up, you got to really get on it and be careful and squish them down good. Actually, my ice pick pointer was helpful in this project too. So some holes I pre-poked. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Well, there you go. So that's what I got. Came out pretty good. I don't know how to do it any better. I just spit and drooled on it. Well, there you go. I guess I'm happy with it, but I don't see how I could have got that much better. It's really tough. You would think that, I know what you're saying, maybe I stretch it one way or the other, but I laid it out pretty good. I said I left the original clips in, and then when I took one out at a time to make sure I put my new clips in the exact same spots that they did originally. And so I'm happy. I got pretty much happy. And as I say, even if you send something out to have it done, the time you spend and waiting for the person to finish doing the upholstery for you. So yeah, maybe the 10, 12 hours I spent on that alone was worth it. Well, here we go. Here's the bottom of the rear back seat. Same problem. You gotta get in there and get those clips in. Okay, that's what that entails. I experienced a dilemma as I moved down to the bottom of the back seat. As I stated earlier, the two biggest suppliers, Myers, Studebaker, and Studebaker International, both used this elderly gentleman for years, who had finally retired, to reproduce these covers. Studebaker International did find another upholsterer that would duplicate these. So there aren't a whole lot of suppliers in regards to this. So things aren't always matched up real good. Here's what I ran into. The back of the top worked out pretty good, I thought. Remember me saying about that? See, that doesn't look too good. I'm okay with that. But when I started doing the bottom, of course I've already installed it. I was calling this the piping. I thought what they were trying to do, because originally there was wires that went up through here. There was wires that were supposed to go through this here. You push it through, and then you hog clip them, and that holds it down in. The back didn't matter too much, so like, oh, that's pretty cheesy. I use this way. I didn't know it was removable. There was no directions with it, and here's what, just to explain a little bit more here. This is the back of. I'm not confused. This is the back replacement for the bucket seat. This is the bottom replacement. As you can see, why I got confused is like the bottom. I got thinking, hey, where's the piping? There's no piping there. Then I got thinking, then I see what's going on. I go, oh, must be you slide these out, slide in the wire, and then you hogs clip them in. And as you'll know on the buckets and the bottom, they go inside. It's a little bit pain in the ass, collecting crap really. So I pushed that through real good, hogs clipped it, and I couldn't really put one in the middle because, of course, I've already installed it. They stitched this so tight. The stitching was very tight here. They didn't do a very good job. They didn't leave much room. So luckily I took the wires off and really wire brushed them and cleaned them real good. I even had to put a little bit of 3-in-1 oil on it, and I got them to slide through there, and that was tough getting that through. Therefore, I couldn't really hot clip it in the middle because if you go sticking a hole there, you're going to go right into the leather, and it's going to show on the other side at some point. And there wasn't enough room here is where you should really poke your hole, the hogs clip it. But there was not enough room because the wire, they stitched it too tight. So I could not do it. So, but it came out fairly good. Still looks pretty good. I got, and these wires have a round loop on it. And like with that, you should always get the hog clip. The top of the wire loop is going to be one here, and they angle off. There's going to be one up here. Make sure you got it clipped right. Then fold it over, bring it around. Then you can work it in there. See, then I got her. You see the wire showing right there? But don't go through the fabric because in my case there's not enough room. I should get back with and explain to them if they need to do a little better job on that. Well, it's something I discovered later on. So therefore, it meant that on the upper part, I spent 10 hours on. I took out, remember, 72 of those clips I took out and replaced them. Pulled the piping out, which I thought was permanent piping, and I thought it was a little cheesy, and then redid it. So I got through that, did the bottom the best I could. Of course, then I reordered some hogs clips from my truck supplier upholstery people. And I wanted to keep moving on this. My nephew says they sell these over to a place called Runnings, a chain store. That's kind of a farming type store. But and oddly enough, I asked the lady, I go, what I was trying to find for upholstery. I go, they call them hogs clips. And well, we have a section there for hogs clips. I go, I just thought it was a term or something. But here's the one, the upholstery one. You see? And here's the one, this is the smallest they had at the runnings. They have like 3 or 4 different sizes bigger. This is the smallest one. They actually use these on a pig's nose, I guess, so they don't grub or something of that nature. So but they're a little too heavy. But I went ahead with them, and I still got some smaller ones coming. So that's the story on those. And they had a little better crimper too. I like that. Here's the one with the upholstery. Okay, there you go. Next, I moved on over to here. Starting to work on the bucket seat. This is the passenger one. Here's the driver's one. Pretty rough shape here. Yeah, so they don't supply it with foam. Originally, I trimmed this off the bottom section a long time ago. Is that just glued down? I get that. There's no problem with that. Here's what I did on that, though. And here's this piece here. It's supposed to go on here like this. Has a screw, and it's over there in the ashtray. Little chrome clip here. That screws in, and they staple this all the way around, which I don't think I can do that. I'm going to just try to re-glue it down good with my 3M. What I did on this, didn't want to really get into this here. On the back side, oh, and here we go. They come apart fairly good. Not too much of anything. That goes through, and it's just a little clips on there real tight and grabs, which is kind of cheesy. So on that one, I just carefully cut. I trimmed this right off. This one's falling apart. I trimmed this all the way like that, and here's when I took it off of here. I actually left this part right here and put my cover over it. Now I don't like that. That's what I'm saying. It's not pull through. There again, this I just shoved it in there real good. I'm pretty sure it'll stay in there all right. There again, it was pretty darn tight here. I think they could have left a little bit more room there. I don't like that, but I'm going to go with it. This isn't too bad. Oh yes, and then the stapler. So originally they had this stapled down. Then this little skirting around the bottom went over the top of that, and it was stapled down. But geez, you gotta be kind of careful you don't hit any of the other staples. And I don't like the way you can't see it on the bottom of the seat. So what I'm going to do is glue it, this would be the new one. I do like the way they did this. So that's what I did. Carefully went around like this. I did that. Real nice. Even carefully trimmed it like that. Fold it over. See? That's what I'm going to do. Now I got the tape so I don't get glue all over everything. And, I really like this glue. I've used it in the past. 3M Super 77. But it's sticky stuff. But you have to spray it on both surfaces. I have to spray it on here and then on here, and then you gotta let it settle a little bit. And boy, then she sucks down. You're done. And after that's all done, and this piece has got to go on here. But this is the original one. They did replicate that with this here, which is pretty nice. Yeah, a little different, but it's all right. There again, originally had tacks in there. Some of it was stapled and some had tacks. And I don't know how you get a staple in there. Maybe I'll try it. We'll think on that a little bit more. And no, I'm not happy that I babied out. I don't like that. You see it there. I don't like that. Darn it. But the problem is that the old foam kind of adheres to this. And taking it off, I'm very careful. Here's the one off the back side of the passenger side. And this is how it's constructed. It has like these cotter keys. See, they hogged the wires to the upholstery. Cotter keys came through the back, just like on the bottom here. There's these cotter keys, and that's what they do. Is they put them through, and they bend them over, and that sucks it in. So we've got to figure out how to do that. And this is what they had there. They put this on there, which kind of covered up the cotter keys, glued it down. Then they glued that on top of that. And this went around the border on there. So, I'm not sure what we're going to do on that yet. Because it can't, the backside, we've got to have that sucked in there good. I find it almost impossible. How did they ever set the new one on there, and they got to try to get those cotter keys to line up with those holes? How did they do that? You see, it's got to be stuck in there good. So we got to face that dilemma shortly. As I said, I was afraid if I try to peel that off the foam was so old that it sticks to it. And I don't even know if it was going to be a little bit after, so I got to figure out how to replicate this mess. So, moving right along, to the best of my ability. This glue is great stuff, but you got to have a little finesse. Put this cardboard down. Of course, the end sometimes that gets a little gooped up. You got to do something, but here we go. I clean the tip a little bit. Shake it well. I'm pleased with my gluing process. Looks pretty decent, nice and neat. Looking at this a little bit more. Yeah, I don't see how I could ever staple that, but the reproduction one is a little better. The more I look into it, I think it is doable. We could spread it apart and actually get a staple in there when I get ready to go do along this edge. I kind of wish that I did proceed and use those cotter keys that hold those steel rods to help suck this down. Now, I don't like this here, but I'm okay with it. It's too late now. And then justifying it by leaving that original center part underneath it gives me a little more cushion and kind of get me up a little higher in my seat. And as I say, the foam is kind of bad shape, or it was deteriorating. That said, that's the way I got to do the other bottom one as well.